Hi, this is Chris at Easy Excel. Thank you for tuning in today to our channel. We're all about making Excel easy, making Excel do the work for you. Okay, so if you've been following along previously, you will have seen this table before. This is the document we keep adding to. And this time, what we're going to be looking at is a real life situation that could happen. So we've made this table, and what we've done is we've set it up so that you have to keep on typing on underneath the table and it adopts a new row. Okay, so if we put a random date in, and now it's adopted into the table, and then each new entry you add a new one and keep going like that. So we've had some feedback that people are finding that a little bit scary. You know, not everyone's up to speed, not everyone's confident with Excel. And when they see this table, it just looks like it finishes there and ends, and then they don't realise that they can just type underneath. So what we've been ending up is, we've had like random dates down here, let's say, in our imaginary scenario, and obviously it's not formatted or anything, so they're just putting data down there, and it's just annoying, really. So the easy way to get around that, because you want this to be user friendly, and you want it to benefit the people that are using it, you want them to find it useful. The easiest way is, let's just add it into this update button. So this is going to do a lot of work. So far we've set this up, if you've watched previous videos, we've set this up to automatically sort the table into date order, and we've also put a bit of code in there for refresh all. So in the future, if we do put any pivot tables or anything into this spreadsheet, we've got a refresh all built into this update button straight away. Okay, so that's just all in line with what I'm trying to teach you about setting yourself up for success. Okay, so let's add something into this button that's going to add a new row underneath here. So every time you press update, you get a blank row that appears and gets incorporated as part of the table. That's what we're going to try and do today. So first things first, we need a bit of code, and I've done a bit of research to find this code, and I'm going to share it with you. Don't worry about all this other stuff. The code is activecell.offset1.select. Basically, what that does, I'm going to copy it now so that I've got it on the clipboard. What it does is it finds whatever cell you're on, and then it offsets downwards by 1. Okay, that's what we want it to do. So we're going to record a macro. So let's record this macro, and we'll call it add new row. Okay, and now it's recording. So we're going to select the first cell in the date column, and we're going to press Control on our keyboards and the down arrow key. That takes us to the very bottom entry that's filled in. Okay, now what we want is, we want the cell underneath that, don't we? So for now, I'm going to stop recording the macro because we want to land on that cell, and then we want to then give it some further instruction. So we'll stop recording, and if we go to macros, that's the add new row there. Let's hit it, or step into it, whichever one. And you can see there we've selected range B3, and then we've pressed Control and the down arrow key, and that's then gone down to the bottom one. So what it hasn't done is it hasn't selected B and then a number, so it's not fixed. It won't go from B3 and then to a fixed number. It will always go to the bottom. So if you've got 500 rows, it'll find B500, and then it'll perform the next function after that. Okay, so we're going to copy that, and we're going to module 1, which is the button, and we'll put that in. So now when we click that button, it will sort the table, it will do the refresh all, and then it will go from B3 down to the bottom. But we want to then go one further, because we want to go to the next one below. Okay, so I'll have to go back and copy this again, because I've just copied and pasted something else. So if we paste this code in, okay, But now what we're telling it to is go from B3 down to the bottom and then go down an extra. So let's test if that works first of all. There we go. So we're now underneath the table, but it hasn't incorporated the table format, so the table hasn't dragged down with it, it's just found a blank cell. So what we now need to try and do is find a way to add to the macro where we type something in this cell to encourage it to drop down. Then we want to then clear the contents so it looks blank. So to do that, in typical fashion of the way that I work and the way that I've been showing you to work, record another macro. So this macro is going to be called, well, what we're trying to do. Let's put new. Let's put type in cell. Okay, type in cell. Okay, so it's now recording the macro. So what we're going to do is just select that cell. I'll come out of it. Select that cell. I'm going to type. Let's put anything. Hello. Right, I'll tell you what. We will put a date, just because I don't want to have any data formatting errors coming up. So we'll put a date in there. And now you can see that's adopted the new row into the table. Drop down boxes and everything. Okay. So then we'll select that cell again. And then we're going to delete it. And then we'll stop recording. So now what we just did there, we're recording. We only need certain bits of that code. So hopefully you're following along with this. Okay. So we're going to go to the type in cell macro we've just made. Edit that. And you can see now it's got a few different things in there. Cells selected and so on. The bits that we need are the active cell and what we typed in and the clear contents. So I'm going to copy that first to module 1, don't forget to put it in the right one. So now we've gone from B3 down to the bottom, we've gone down one row, I'm going to type that in. And then I think I'll leave it in where we click out of it. So we'll just randomly select B26, let's say, why not? No, we won't. Instead, because we don't want a fixed cell, do we? We want that same cell. So instead, we're just going to replicate this. Because what that does is it goes to the top, goes down to the very bottom cell with a value. So if we go through this from the beginning, we're selecting B3, going down to the bottom. This one rather. B3 down to the bottom. Then we're doing active cell, so we're going down, basically going down one, or the offset. Then we're typing something in. Okay. Then we're going back to B3. I'm going to go down to the bottom so that we're on that cell. And then on that selection, we're going to clear the contents. Let's see if that works. And I hope you did follow along. It can be, a little bit confusing, chopping and adding different bits of code here and there. So if you're new to macros, maybe try and rewatch what I just did so that you can follow along. And hopefully it does work now. So let's just type a date in there. So we've got that completed. If we go to the top, yes, that's what we wanted. And then I just want to make sure that it definitely doesn't write over the cell. I think that one just got sorted, but to make sure I'm going to put a date that's not in there. So this definitely is the most recent date, so it's not going to move. Okay. Yeah, brilliant, and it's gone underneath it. So there we go. Now, did you notice that when you do that, it flashes around on the screen a little bit? Yeah, and it doesn't look. It's quick, but if you have got a massive table, it might not be as quick. It might take a bit of time. So if we try that again, just watch what I mean now. You might not have spotted it on the recording, I don't know, but it flashes around on the screen. So there is something else that you can add to the macro, which makes it work in the background, so you can't see the changes happening. So I'll do that on another video, okay, and I'll try and leave the link to that in the description so you can see it. So just to double check that everything's worked fine for this, just to show you, the drop down boxes are there. If I type something in, it's popping up with that. Yeah. If I try and type a number that's too short from what we set previously, still coming up telling me I need to check the number. Okay. So all of those formats have been adopted. So we've now got a way of being able to add a new row so that it's not confusing for people. So when they come, they'll just, the people who are using your spreadsheet now, they're going to type this new customer in the bottom, and then as they've been told to do, they'll press update, and then it's then going to add a row underneath. Now let's see what happens if someone just presses update, but there's nothing there. Nothing. So we're not going to end up with loads of blank rows getting added, which that's why I did it this way, because you can get other formulas and functions and code where it'll just tell it to add a new row, and every time you click that it'll just keep adding a new row and adding a new row, and we don't want to do that. We only want to add a new row under the last value, like that. So that works for what we need, and I think it's much better than just having a bog standard set in stone add new row, because if someone gets a bit click happy, you're going to end up with 100 blank rows added doing that. Okay, quite a complicated one, quite a bit of code and messing around with macros. So I hope it made sense. Please let me know in the comments if anything was unclear or you want anything recovering. Please like it if it was useful. Maybe rewatch it again and follow back through now that you know what the end result is. And if you do like the content and it's helping you, please subscribe to the channel. That will be a big help. I really appreciate it. So my name's Chris. This is Easy Excel, although this one wasn't so easy. But in the long run, it will make life easier, okay? And we're all about making life easy and making Excel work for you. So thank you for watching.